Elderberry,
and
right?
elderberry and things that are normally considered to be very good antivirals and helpful in building immunity in times like this can actually be contraindicated with a virus such as the COVID-19 that we're dealing with right now. The reason for that is it mutated to use different pathways. And when you downregulate some of the pathways that elderberry and propolis and some of these other antivirals do, you happen to upregulate the pathway that this specific virus happens to use to get inside of the host cells.
Viruses are normal to the human body, as I understand it, right?
Yeah, that's actually the newest understanding that we have about what a virus actually is, because there's been much debate about that over the years, is that these things are actually made inside of the body. Of course, once they are made, they can spread from person to person and whatnot. But we have all this particulate matter of RNA inside of our body and DNA. Anytime a cell is regenerated, that particulate matter, when that cell dies, goes somewhere. It's in that extracellular fluid. And from a more energetic standpoint, we look at the human body field and how the electromagnetic fields and the quantum fields that relate to your human body actually help to manifest the physical particles that we experience here in this world.
And a virus is not a cell, is it?
No, a virus is not a cell. So what's actually happening is you have these energetic distortions, and they could be emotional, they could be all sorts of different things.
But they're energetic
based.
But
they're energetically based. And that's that energy and that information that is around that particulate matter after these cells die, after they get maybe so toxic that they end up dying. That particulate matter can actually self-assemble itself into these viruses. Many people actually theorize that the body will actually create these viruses itself for the healing process. And some of the time, we are actually stopping the body's healing process by hindering these viruses and doing their jobs. But that's not always the case. I wouldn't say that this is a healing type of virus.
No, but it reminds me, Todd, of the time that a doctor said to me they're trying to create antiviral medicines, but the ramifications are so detrimental because there's certain viruses that are helpful to us. Kimberly, you had a
So I wanted to tie into the fact that you're actually talking about what the liver experiences. All toxic substances produce energetic imbalances, resulting in physical, mental, and emotional systems. So that's the whole
energy.
But that's what's tied into the liver that liver picks up. That's why the liver also has to deal with the energetic stuff and all toxins.
Well, and you were talking about the cell membrane, because we know that that's really the determining factor of health.
Yeah, for sure, in many ways. So a lot of what this virus boils down to is somebody's redox status. And what I mean by that is whether or not you have adequate ability to reduce anything that's causing oxidative stress inside of the body.
Oh, that's what redox means.
Yeah, that's that redox, that balance between oxidative and reduction is you're either reducing something or you're oxidizing something. And really these are energetic charges inside of the body, literal voltage that's happening. And in the modern world, we have so many different things that mess with the voltage that is inside of our body, one of them mainly being electromagnetic fields. We've blanketed our entire planet with things like AM and FM radio, but now all of our cell phones and the Wi-Fi and the coming 5G and all of our satellites, these are photonic energies that carry charge.
And they're affecting our cell membranes?
Yeah, as they pass through our bodies, they can pass directly through, but as they do that, they can help to depolarize the cell membrane. And this is actually what is necessary before the virus can make its way into the cell. Oh. So that's why you see these little pockets around the world that have very developed cellular networks, and maybe some of the new 5G ones are some of the areas that have been got hit the most by this virus. And it's a combination of just its normal, novel kind of new presentation that it has in tandem with some of the more energetic environmental things that we've been doing and not really necessarily thinking through all the ramifications that may come from.
So I just want to ask a question, because I've been talking about cellular communication. So would you say that the EMF stuff coming in through our body is affecting our cellular communication?
It depolarizes, right?
Yes, of course. So, our cellular communication is key, and our cells actually use light to communicate. They're referred to as biophotons. and those lights have specific sets of information that are encoded on them, and that's that information that's traveling from one cell to another over that photon. And what we're doing with all of our communications technology is actually layering the information that we're trying to get from point A to point B over these photons that are passing through us at all times.
And those photons are what's carried through in the food that's healthy food and organic and what have you. So that's the information.
That's what I talk about in bioenergetic.
And then our thoughts and our feelings is information as well. That's part of that environment that Bruce Lipton talks about.
What are you recommending people do because if they can't get away from the EMFs, or what can they do to mitigate? What do you do to
build their immune system?
Yeah, the main things that you're going to want to do is make sure that you have adequate redox status. And the best way to do that is to actually utilize a molecule that's been around for millions, if not billions of years. And that would be ascorbic acid, or what people normally refer to as vitamin C. Although I say ascorbic acid very specifically because in the modern world, we tend to buffer molecules and we change them in all different ways. And sometimes that can make it easier on the stomach. So people that have a little bit upset stomach can take some of these other buffered forms of vitamin C a little bit easier. But you actually lose some of the energetic qualities of vitamin C and how it interacts with light, or that photonic energy that's coming from those electromagnetic fields. So you want to use the normal natural molecule that nature has made, all the way from the cyanobacteria all the way up to us and humans.
Okay. Ascorbic acid.
Has always used ascorbic acid to balance redox.
Okay, so I've been taking liposomal or lipospheric. And I get a great result from that. So can you let people know which brands that you would prefer possibly?
Is that you can get that in the cellular stores?
I have, and I can't
get that.
Yeah,
Dr. Mercola makes a wonderful liposomal vitamin C that is ascorbic acid.
That's what I've been taking.
And if there's a variety of other formulas out there, they don't necessarily need to be liposomal, although the absorption rates are much better. So if you can't afford that,
what makes liposomal? What makes that?
A liposome is actually utilized by the body better because it's in resonance with the body. Because what we've done is we take that ascorbic acid that we want to get into the body and we wrap it inside of a lipid, the same exact type of lipids that our cell membranes are made out of. And because those cell membranes are electromagnetically mediated, and it recognizes that the thing that's coming up in contact with it is just like itself, because they're in resonance with each other, it's going to come into that cell very easily, and then we have a little surprise inside of the middle that is the ascorbic acid that we wanted to get inside of the cell.
Got it. So vitamin C is really important at this time.
Yeah.
Because our livers do not. We're the only mammals that do not make vitamin C.
How much?
In the liver?
How much vitamin C?
If you're sick, you probably will not have a maximum. You probably will not even get to bowel tolerance. So continue to take as much, I would say, 1 gram every hour if you're sick.
If you're sick.
If you're just trying to do maintenance, you could do 250 milligrams every hour.
And then there was something else that you'd mentioned the other day, melatonin, right?
Indeed. Melatonin is actually implicated with this virus as well because melatonin has some very interesting non-circadian benefits or actions inside of the body that are not related to day and night. And they regulate cytokine storms. And when this virus actually gets to the lungs, it creates a cytokine storm that
which is toxin,
causes the person to not be able to get enough oxygen. So the reason that it's hitting the elderly people a little bit more than younger people is because they have lower levels of melatonin rates. So what you want to do is protect your melatonin as much as you can, and the best way to do that is to limit blue light as well as electromagnetic frequencies, because they are light too. It's just light that we can't see. So shut off your Wi-Fi at night and don't look at your cell phone before you're about to go to bed for at least an hour, and you should be able to preserve those adequate melatonin levels during these times.
That's great.
Wow, there's a lot. Is there anything else that you were?
I think those were the main ones.
The vitamin C and the melatonin in particular. I think there was something else, but I can't remember myself. And I know that we're getting short on time, but there's so much
deep breathing.
And I think the bottom line is getting the correct information to the body, to whether it's the vitamins that you're talking about, whether it's the food you're talking about, or it's really taking your level of anxiety down. Take that, because that is a big part of the environment. When as a body worker, when somebody gets uptight, I cannot release I cannot get flow in the body. And when that happens, we're not able to get healing to happen. So I know that we're all practicing social distancing and we're taking good care of ourselves. So this is just a really wonderful time to do the things that you're talking about, Kimberly, and taking care of yourself, and anything else in terms of electromagnetic frequency that you would recommend.
If you haven't seen an energetic practitioner, find one and get yourself checked out for sure.
Great. Well, you can see there's a lot of information. We could go on and on. I'm sorry, we've run out of time, and thank you so much for coming, you guys. It's been great to do this together, and
awesome.
It was a pleasure.
And I invite our listeners to come and hear more about the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. And with that being said, take care, be well, be safe, and we'll get through this together. Thanks for tuning into our show on SocietyBitesRadio.com. Don't worry, if you've missed a show, you can find them all on our website at SarasotaHolisticChamberofCommerce.com.